Hi, my name is Nate Robert and I'm excited to share with you how we're changing the way that people experience real estate. And let me invite you back to the year 2020. Imagine yourself as a real estate developer with 200 million of dollars of projects out there, and overnight, because of COVID, you're not able to show one in-person viewing. That's what happened in 2020. The world shifted and created what we call the virtual first buyer. Now, fast forward to 2025, and 98% of people explore real estate online first, right? But the problem is it's a poor virtual experience, right? You're trying to make out images, you're trying to make out floor plans, and it's frustrating and confusing. And so what do? You leave, you go to the next property. And for real estate developers, this problem is costing them $22,000 per unit per day, every day that the unit is not sold. Now, why does that happen? It happens because they're flying blind. The issue is they don't have the insights on why people are walking away. And that's exactly why we invented Path. We are the eyes and ears of real estate virtual tours. We invented Path to create actionable insights for real estate developers to connect to the right buyers at the right time. We do more to engage the buyer through interactive experiences that they can not only just walk through virtually, but they can also have a conversation with. And what if it's at night and you want to explore? Well, we offer a 24/7, always on experience to help developers connect to their buyers at all times of the day. Because the reality is, people don't want to be sold to. They want to feel understood. And at Path, we help developers understand their buyers, and we help buyers understand their new purchase. And so let me tell you how Path works. Once you enter a Path experience, you're greeted by Ella. She's nice, she's friendly, she knows everything about the property and the area, and she speaks 22 languages. As Ella is giving you a tour of the property, you're walking around, clicking around, and asking questions. We're taking all of that information and creating an intent score. Now, this intent score tells us who's window shopping or who is more likely to buy. Now, we take that information and put it in the tools that the real estate developer is already using, like their CRM or their listing service, with automated follow-up triggers to reach them at the right time. We run a SaaS model with proven demand. Path Agent costs $500 a month. It's surface agnostic, which is a fancy way of saying it can live in any type of virtual tour. For Path Plus, we charge $1,500 a month, and we go out and scan the property. And if the property is pre-construction, we can actually create it in 3D. And then Path Insights is for those developers who need the deeper understanding about their buyers and want to actually empower their sales and marketing efforts. And we have a 75% margin on all of our products. Now let's talk about how big this can get. The global commercial real estate market that spends money on prop tech right now is $19 billion. They build an average of 16 new properties a year. And that's growing at a 22% CAGR. Tech-ready luxury developers in the US and Europe is about a $4 billion SAM. And there are 800 luxury pre-construction real estate developers out there right now. We believe that if we can capture 450 of their tier 1 developments and serve them with Path, we can have a $11 million opportunity. And so a lot can happen in a small amount of time. Last year, we started building Path in August, created the MVP in September. And in January, we linked up with one of the largest real estate developers in the country, Hines. And we were able to secure a contract with the Ritz-Carlton Boston South Station Tower, which changed everything for us. We raised $50,000 with that contract to actually build out the product and put some more enterprise logos under our belt. And from there, we're taking all of the learnings that we got from all of that, and we're gonna build out Path Insights this year going into next year. And so our team is built for this. For myself, I was that 13-year-old kid in my room, locking myself up, learning about VR, learning about 3D. And so this is all I know and care about. For the rest of us, we knew we had to know a lot about some specific topics, like real estate sales and marketing, AI data engineering. which Molly and I bring 30 plus years of real estate sales and marketing experience. Our CTO, Victor Pham, knows deep tech, he knows AI, and so he's the one who's built out the product. And we also knew we had to think with the end in mind, right? So we brought on strategic advisors with over $10 billion in enterprise portfolio value that also know how to exit companies. They know how to build good companies. And so who else is in the picture? We're building at the edge of what people are building right now. Our competitors are entrenched in either building the best AI chatbot or trying to build the best virtual tour. And they're ignoring the customer by building those things because people want immersive experiences that they can actually interact with, and they want data that they can actually use. And that's exactly what we're doing for the Ritz. We drove 1,600 new conversations. That's 1,600 new feet in the door asking questions, right? 17 minutes of average session time spent in our tours as opposed to 90 seconds on the regular website. And then we also drove a 44% virtual tour to visit ratio, which means 44% of people who went through that tour actually asked to come in and visit the actual property. And you'll hear from Joe himself. They were going to spend $2 million on a show unit, but we were able to almost eliminate that cost for them by creating our Path experience. Talk about impact. The way we plan on taking this to market is, first of all, doing what we're doing right now. Myself going all around the place, preaching the gospel of Path, and telling people, and telling luxury pre-construction developers how this saves them money and saves them time. And by doing that, we'll get to 8 customers. From there, we're going to partner with companies like JLL, property management companies, to get to our next 17 customers. And then from there, we're going to do outbound and product-led sales that is going to take us to 25 plus customers with brokerages and agents. And we're currently doing that as well. So we're doing a beta with 5 luxury brokerages who have entrusted us with some of their top agents to test out Path. And actually, one of the people in the beta, Lauren, has asked us to bypass the beta and just allow her agents to use this because she sees the power in what this will do for them. And so this grant will be transformative for Path. It'll allow us to reach $25,000 in monthly revenue by next year. It'll allow us to reach our 17 customers, and it will allow us to pour back into the North Carolina ecosystem that poured so much into us. We're going to employ 2 more NC-based team members to be on our team and work with us, and also convert those 5 pilots that we have as well, get us ready for that next round. So real estate has changed dramatically. It will continue to change. So let's sell smarter. Thank you all so much.
Stay with me here. I don't want it to sound like a knock. I look at the amount of money you're saving customers, right, in that one slide. I'm looking at the logos that you got, and I'm looking at 6K MRR, where I would think, with these logos and this customer, there'd be a lot of expansion opportunity. And I also saw 170,000 in revenue.
Yes.
Reconcile the revenue and maybe the growth opportunity from what you've already currently landed.
1,000%. A lot of our efforts have gone to building the product. So we don't want to go out there and just get 1 million customers before making sure the product is where it needs to be, because in real estate, reputation is everything. So we want to put ourselves in a good spot to do that. So we've been working with our beta customers to really refine the product and make sure it is where it's supposed to be.
And so the 170,000 that you had on, where does that come from?
Good question. So that comes from a lot of our onboarding fees. So remember when I mentioned that we can create the building in 3D? We charge the real estate developer $2 per square foot for the 3D models that we create. So that has made us about $160,000, $170,000. I mean, well, sorry, it has made us $120,000 a month. Yes.
The pricing is the essentially that monthly price is per firm or per agent?
Per development.
Okay, per development.
Per project.
Property.
So it's project based, not.
Yes, per development. Yeah, per development.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
correct.
you.
So you had me going on your metrics till I didn't see the tie to sales. So I would assume that if you could tie it to a sale, 44% actually
Yeah.
visited. I was waiting for the next number, which was X percent
Absolutely.
tied to that.
Yeah.
And then have you ever thought about, and would they be interested in a percentage of actual sales?
We have thought about that. It's a great idea. The reason why we didn't tie it into sales yet is because we want the numbers to be accurate. They just opened the building last month. So we still have a few months before we come back and ask them again, how has this impacted the actual sales since the building has been open? So we'll say, okay, pre-construction, nothing available to actually show in person, and then after construction, where you can actually show.
But does your platform track that failed event as part of the process? Do you have that data automatically, or are you dependent upon them entering something in somewhere?
Yeah, our platform is not a CRM, so they don't put in the sale. However, we're looking to implement things like that in the future.
You're charging per development.
Correct.
What are you envisioning for the length of a development? Is it gonna be like 2 years, 3 years, 6 months?
So we're looking at 2 years as our, as our total value, per property,
Developments vary in size dramatically.
1,000%.
And so is it a flat fee per development per month? Or are you going to have tiers based upon the size?
Yeah, at the current moment, it's a flat fee. That $1,500 is typically what we charge for developers. Now, we've seen that most of the larger developers need those insights to power their sales and marketing teams. So they typically pay $3,000. So we have 2 customers right now paying that. Yeah. That will pay that, yeah.
When your users to experience a 3D virtual interactive tour log in, are they identified so that you can follow up with the sale later on? Like, did Mr. So-and-so actually buy something? Like you can track it and ask your client.
Absolutely. So as soon as they enter our experience, there's a lead form. So we have their name, their email, and their phone number. And yes, so once they do close the sale, they can tie it back to this person, entered ThroughPath, they ask these questions, and that's why they made the sale. Great question.
So if it's not finished, it's still in construction. You're creating, because a lot of developers have, images of
Right.
their vision of what it's going to be. So tell me how, if it's still under construction, tell me how you create your 3D image for something where the walls aren't all up yet.
Yeah. So we use virtual reality technology to create those 3D models. Essentially, we take their floor plans as well as their interior design plans, and that's what we use to create those 3D models. And that's what allows you to sort of walk through that environment without it being built.
How flexible is the interaction? Because in any development, you have options for these cabinets, these walls, this bathroom. So as they're doing their virtual tour, can they say, I want a large master or I want a double master and then see it?
Yeah, so there's 2 things you can do in a Path experience right now. First of all, you can transform anything in the property with generative AI just by asking a question. So if there's a couch there, you say, take the couch out, change it to this color, et cetera. Same thing with cabinets, et cetera. Also, we have a tool that brings up the floor plan. Once you ask about other floor plans or you ask about pricing or whatnot, you can switch to another floor plan. So you can go see another unit.
Are beta users testing the Path Insights feature?
Yes.
Do you have any early insights from that?
Yeah, we do actually from the Ritz as well. So we met with their marketing companies called Orchestra. It's a very well-known real estate marketing company. And essentially they had an ad out that basically said Ritz-Carlton residences, condos come to the sales center, something like that, right? And so we saw that one of the frequently asked questions was how much is the rental? So they were burning money just by having that Google ad out because it wasn't reaching the right people. Just by changing that one word, literally just saying it's a condo building, they can sort of attract the right people. So that is one small instance of how understanding what people are asking in the actual tours can empower sales and marketing efforts.
How did you get the first project?
Great question. Yeah, so I've been in real estate virtual tours for about 8 years now. And through that, I've built a ton of relationships with big developers, builders, et cetera. And so that was how we got that first one. But essentially, we came in telling them, hey, we're going to do the 3D tour for you. But then I showed them Path. And they brought all of their team to come see it. I stayed for an extra day and they loved it. And so that's how we earned the project.
You mentioned 19 minutes of engagement. What are people doing in those 19 minutes? It sounds like it's possible to actually see other units or
Yeah.
like redecorate sort of. Are they just touring the property or sort of what, break down the 19 minutes?
Yeah. So typically people are doing more virtual tours. So they're looking around the property more. Sometimes they might ask, hey, take me to the gym. And then they're in the gym, they explore more. That's what I've seen the majority of. But on the flip side, people are answering the questions that are preloaded into the virtual experience. So one of the questions, for instance, is, what's bringing you to the area? A lifestyle change or a job change? And so they'll reply and say lifestyle change. And then they'll ask about neighborhood stuff. So it's a balance, I would say, of about 60-40 exploring the property, and then 40 is like tinkering around with our design tool, as well as asking and answering questions.
Can you get a picture of the headset? Is it headset based or just off any screen?
Any screen, any device.
The headset as well?
Yes, we can work with the headset. But we know where things are going as well. All of that stuff will be wearables. So we are building ourselves to be the buyer intelligence platform for all devices.
Like you're going with luxury developments first, but yet you're charging a flat fee.
Yeah.
So one, I would assume that the idea is that as soon as you're done with your betas, that you'll move into some type of commission based.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
there are other types of developments where people like virtual tours and they're getting large. You take Carolina Meadows.
Mm.
That is a
Yeah.
big complex out there and it's growing every day.
Yeah.
Have you been looking at other complexes that have and service people that would very much prefer to be able to do a first tour? Or are you, there's lots of different types of developments.
Oh, absolutely. One of our pilots right now is Coulter Homes. They develop, millions of square feet of homes in the Southeast region. And one of the things that we've been talking to them about is pricing, right? Like what would make the most sense? Right now we've landed on about $500, but as we move into, capturing all of their projects and all of their developments, we're discussing what that pricing would look like. But yes, we are very interested in those other types of developments.
20% of the grant is used on compliance and 10 on legal. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, good question. Compliance is fair housing laws. So fair housing laws is huge with what we're doing. We have to make sure that our AI agents don't say the wrong thing. And so we have a few plans in terms of getting with municipalities to really understand their fair housing laws, as well as training our agents with what we call an MCP. So it's basically a brain that understands that. And our AI agent goes to that brain whenever a question is asked that's sort of compromising anything. So that protects us, it protects our customers, and we think it's a very important way to spend our money. Then the rest of it for legal will be to patent our software.
So I've lived in a lot of places, bought a lot of houses, fortunately. One of the big things is the neighborhood. How far away is this? How far away is that? Is that part of your virtual experience as well? So I can walk down the street?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So once you ask where are the coffee shops in the area, it brings up a list and it brings up a dialog box that shows how far the coffee shop is away, or the coffee shops are away from where you're trying to live. And then once you click on one of them, you can actually do a Google sort of tour of that in the same experience. So you don't have to open up 17 tabs to understand how far away something is.
one else, I've got one more.
Everyone.
So, can you tell us about more, I'd love to hear more about the competition, if you're gonna lose business in this space to somebody, who and why, and how are you better?
Yeah, so again, we plug into those tools. So the Matterports, the iGuys, the Zillow 360s, we are the brain of that sort of body. The virtual tour is a body, we are the brain. We decode what's happening inside of those tours. And we've created hundreds of taxonomies to say if someone does this and that, then this is the insight or this is what's happening. So there's a data moat in there that sort of compounds every time we get a new property on board. And then also the fair housing laws, MCP that I talked about, we've been building that for 8 months. It's gonna be hard for someone to come in and sort of disrupt that. But we do believe because it's such a, virtual tours is rising, it's a rising market, and people are spending more time online to explore properties. It's inevitable that people are going to join the race. It's just we're so far ahead, and with this, we'll be even more far ahead to position ourselves to win.
You mentioned that, you know, you're looking ahead towards a Series A. So what's the dollar amount that you're envisioning for that? And what will, I guess, what milestones do you need to hit to actually raise a Series A?
Yeah. So likely around like 10 million, something around there. Milestones, we have to be at about $1 million in ARR. And so that will get us, what we're doing now will get us ready because product will be ready. We'll start marketing with one of the best marketers, period, for real estate. And so the product is going to get out there. We're very confident about that, but it's just this early traction and pilots and getting the product where it needs to be is the serious, is the inflection point we're at now.
Just a follow-up. So the revenue that you'll be bringing in the NC IDEA grant, if you get it, that can get you to $1 million in ARR, which would then allow you to raise the 10 million?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So have you, your application references pre-seed raise, have you paused that?
Yes and no. So we're still raising, but we're focusing on getting our pilots, like focusing on making our pilot customers happy, right? So it's essential for us to do that before we start trying to bring on a ton of funding and stuff.
You told us as it's a no-brainer, right? Why are people saying no or will wait? Why are people waiting to say yes?
Oh, to buying the product?
Yeah.
They're not.
So everyone you call says yes.
Most of the people that we've met, so like the conference that I went to, I gave a talk and everyone pretty much signed up after that. They came to the table, we talked, and I signed them up as pilots. So everywhere we've gone and showed them what's going on, they typically will say yes. We just have not done large campaigns to get a ton of
Are these paid pilots?
Yes.
Do you have any sense of the conversion, since you're not quite there yet, paid pilot to being a permanent customer?
Yeah, at the current moment, it's 100% at the current moment. Now, with the 5 pilots that we're bringing in, that is just kicking off. So they've just signed the pilot agreements. Like we're just finding the agents, the high performing agents that will be a part of that pilot. But at the current moment, like I said, it's 100%. We haven't had anyone, start a pilot and then not convert it to an actual customer.
Your test be to have a non-highly performing agent and see if you can make them better?
Well, that's a great point. I mean, we haven't
Dangerous, I
necessarily,
know,
but it's more about who is actually going to value it and use it, and actually put it within their sales process is what we're looking at. So it might not be the highest performing agent in that sense, but it would be the most engaged agent that will use the tech.
That pretty much brings us to time.